Good morning, beautiful people. It is Wednesday, December 18th, 2019. Last night, 12 Baltimore Ravens were voted into the Pro Bowl, the most since the Miami Dolphins had in 1973. We'll have the entire Pro Bowl roster breakdown. Who got snubbed? Who got dubbed wrongly? We'll talk about all that. Also, I'll break down the difference between the All-Pro and Pro Bowl and why neither of them really matter, but I can understand the vindication of the whole damn thing. We'll talk about everything going on. We have Ryan Leaf joining us and 17-year NFL quarterback that I didn't know existed before this morning, Steve Berline, joining us today. Can't wait to chat with him. Evan Foxy, please play some Chase Rice.
It's the perfect occasion for a little vacation from the heart of the nation. Not your medication, 2 hours of magic. Let's give it a go. Ladies and gents, it's the Pat McAfee Show.
That's correct, Chase Rice. He's about to release a new album, I think. He's telling people if they watch videos on his Instagram, songs will make it into the album. So go check that out at Chase Rice. Nick Morato's on the ones and twos. At Tone Diggs is here. Jason, Zito, Foxy, and Todd is on the phones. 1-833-622-3331. Join the conversation. We can't wait to hear from you. Ty Schmidt, it's his birthday. Happy birthday, Ty.
Happy birthday, Ty.
He woke up this morning coming out of the basement in the attic, I guess. He's very sick. And also Connor woke up this morning very sick. So something's in the office. I have no idea who's next, but we got two men down, one of them on his birthday. If you could tweet at Ty Schmidt, tell him happy birthday and cheer up while he's puking and whatever else is going on, that would be very nice of you. Last night, the Pro Bowl rosters were debuted. And it's always a massive evening for the NFL. And it's a massive evening for players if they haven't made a Pro Bowl yet. And let me tell you why this is the case. So, for me, my hatred for these fake awards goes back all the way to high school. My sophomore year of high school, I led the entire state of Pennsylvania in goals scored in Western Pennsylvania in assists for our soccer team. My teammate got voted Valley News Dispatch, which is a newspaper from where we're from, Player of the Year, while I was just honorable mention on the team, okay? I led the entire state in goals scored and the Western Pennsylvania in assists, and a teammate of mine, who's a friend of mine, got named Player of the Year. So it was at that moment I knew that everything was just a big joke, okay? I knew that these awards are just a big joke, because what more could I have possibly done? I honestly don't know. But I was happy for him in the moment. Couldn't be selfish. Obviously, I had to be happy for him. Didn't tell him how mad I was about this until about 3 months later. Let him enjoy his little fake ceremony that didn't matter and that whole thing. But for me, that's when it all started. So then whenever I went into college, I was All-American, rookie All-American, then I got All-American my senior year. But I was a Ray Guy finalist, and I came in second place for the Ray Guy Award to a kid that had half the punts I had, much lower average than I had. Just absolutely everything was terrible. But Ray Guy picked him strictly because Ray Guy was friends with the guy's coach. So you compound these things that have happened to me whenever these awards are up and these titles are up and I haven't won. You could see how I could personally become jaded. Then whenever I get to the NFL, there's this massive bonus put into my contract to make a Pro Bowl. It's $250,000. A lot of money, by the way. $250,000 if I get voted in the Pro Bowl. And I have this hatred for these things, but now I have direct financial gain if I do get voted in. So there was a couple years where I did okay and I didn't get in there, but like my fourth year, I think, or my fifth year, I had a great year. And I kept telling myself, like, hey, this could be the year where I make the Pro Bowl. This could be the year where that $250,000 thing happens. And I start like hyping myself up to fall in love with this completely fake, not relevant award or title, because really the only thing that matters in team sports is if your team likes you, if your coaches like you, if the players respect you in the locker room, if the equipment managers and the athletic trainers and the people that you work with and surround yourself with appreciate and respect what you do and you make your team better and win games. Honestly, if you're a true team player, that's the only thing that matters. And for me, that was the only thing that mattered. But whenever you put $250,000 on something, all of a sudden you start worrying about a little bit more. And whenever that was put into the contract, I thought back to my sophomore year of high school. I thought back to college when I got screwed out of these awards. I'm like, well, this is just how it's going to be for the rest of my life. So let's assume that that is never going to happen. I have a good year. My name starts getting thrown out there a little bit. And all of a sudden, it's like, wait, am I going to make the Pro Bowl? I started hyping myself up. And then like a week before it was supposed to happen, I started talking myself down. Like, oh, you're not going to make it. Remember, you get screwed out of this. Don't get your hopes up. And then the day before it's to be announced, the night before I go to bed, I'm like, it'd be really cool if you get voted for the Pro Bowl, Pat. Not only is it vindication and all that stuff, but the $250,000 would be great. I mean, that's just good news. And it's nice to be recognized by your peers, coaches, and fans as the best in the game. So I go to bed, I go in to work the next day, and I ask our PR guy, I'm like, yo, did I make it? He's like, oh, we don't know yet. I'm like, you're lying to me. I know that you know. And he was like, I really won't know until this afternoon. So we go to practice. We come out after practice. I'm like, did I make it? He's like, they haven't told me yet. I'm like, what the hell with them? I'm going home. So the rest of the team had meetings to watch practice after practice to like kind of recap the film so we could go in later the next day. Something was going on. And I did not have to do that. So I went home. I was driving home. And I'm like, damn, another year. I got my hopes up. There's no reason for me to be even excited about this because I thought the team would tell me. I'm like 3/4 of the way home, and I get a call from the PR guy, and he's like, where you at? I'm like, I'm close to home right now. He's like, I need you to come back. And I was like, why is that? He was like, you know why. And I'm like, I don't know why. He was like, well, coach would like to announce the rest of the team, the Pro Bowlers. And I never had this moment where I had talked myself off of the ledge of being a seven. I was like, I made the Pro Bowl? He was like, yeah, you made the Pro Bowl. I'm like, let's go. So I hang up on him. I do a U-turn in the middle of a highway. I head back to the facility, and I put on like I'm so paid, right? I'm so paid by Akon and on the thing. Yep. And I'm driving back, and I'm having this entire moment. I get back into the facility. Both me and Vinatieri made it. Chuck wanted to introduce us to the team. So after the practice, after they had their meetings, after practice, everybody went in the team meeting room. Chuck introduced us. I think T.Y. made it. Luck made it. He wanted to introduce all of us. And it was that moment with the rest of my teammates where they were like happy, like clapping for us, that it was a real vindicating moment. It was like, you know what I'm doing, people are recognizing. My peers are recognizing that I've kind of changed the game a little bit. My peers have recognized all the hard work that I put in. So you immediately have this moment of gratification where you're like so thankful and grateful for the entire thing, along with the $250,000 financial bonus. But that moment where your teammates are like happy for you is really the best moment of the whole thing. Because then as soon as I got in the car to drive home, I was like, yeah, but who cares? Who cares? And I think that's the biggest difference between being a first-time Pro Bowler and then the next time I got voted in the Pro Bowl where I chose not to play in it. It's like that first time, it feels so good to have that vindication of like people recognize what I'm doing because there's so much BS in the world. And a lot of awards are we could go buy an Emmy right now if we wanted. A local regional Emmy. We could go buy one right now. It's like $250. You read people on their Twitter bio, they're like Emmy Award winning. It's like, no, any Emmy Award buying is what you should call yourself. It's like every award is normally crap, but whenever you get that first Pro Bowl nod, it's so like exhilarating where you're like, you know what, finally. And then afterwards you realize like, a lot of bad players make it in the Pro Bowl strictly because of their name. A lot of this happens. A lot of that happens. And I think that's the biggest difference between like young guys. Like I know Darius Leonard last year. He was rookie of the year for some people. He was all pro for some people, which we'll talk about in a minute. But he didn't make the Pro Bowl, and he was like actually hurt about it. And I wanted to tell him as somebody like a little bit older, like, hey, this doesn't matter. But then I thought back to myself. I was like, you know what? Whenever I was going in for my potential first one, I would have been very upset if I didn't make it. I can respect it. But I think that's the difference between the first batch of Pro Bowlers versus repeat Pro Bowlers, where it's like, I appreciate and respect the honor. It's very nice to be recognized by people, but I very much understand that this is a subjective thing, not an objective thing. And that's why you can get people's opinions and politics involved, and it doesn't really matter. Now, speaking of not really mattering, but people hyping it up, all pro does not mean a damn thing. People say all pro is worth more. And when they talk about Hall of Fames, they're like, well, he was an all pro 5 times. All pro means that the media people think that you're the best. So if you don't have a good relationship with the media people, you're never going to get voted in. And in my position, the media people have no idea what's happening in punting and kicking. So they have no clue what's going on. Now, granted, I was all pro at one point, but there was years where I should have been, and I should have been in the Pro Bowl. It didn't happen. But it was just like, these people have no idea what they're talking about. Now, for some positions, I would assume that the media knows what's good and what isn't good. So like for quarterbacks, let's assume that the media gets it right and that type of stuff. But don't undersell their relationship with different players too on who gets voted into all pro. So I never really gave a damn about all pro. I cared about the players vote for Pro Bowl more than anything else, more than the fan vote, more than the coaches vote. I cared about the players vote. But for me, I love the fodder. I love the conversation. It's a great honor for people, but it's obviously made out to be a much bigger deal than it actually is. And I think we all understand that about all awards. If you have an actual brain, you can see how people get vindicated. You can see how people get heartbroken, but it's all a bunch of malarkey in my eyes.
Do you think players and coaches take it seriously when they're voting for the Pro Bowl?
Oh, yeah, we do. But also now there's politics in that too. So you're not allowed to vote for your own team. So you're asked to vote like who your 3 at each position are, 2, whatever it is. Who's your first team Pro Bowl or second team Pro Bowl? I think alternate too. I don't know if it's 3 or 2 for each position. You're not allowed to vote for anybody on your team. But if you have a guy who you know deserves it at a position, who's probably not going to get enough votes, you're like, okay, who's probably going to beat him out? Let's leave him out of the list. So there is, I mean, there is politicking and everything. And that's why you can't really take it serious, because if it was just if it wasn't subjective, if it was just complete facts, like, hey, you are the best, which is impossible to do because situations are situational. That is a real thing. So it's hard to take serious. And that's, I think if it wasn't for my jaded past with these types of awards and titles and things like that, I would probably have a very different view. But I've gone on to be very, very successful in a lot of things. And I have not won a lot of awards I probably think I should have won. And that's why I don't give a real damn about them. But that first time I got voted in the Pro Bowl, I remember having this incredible feeling of like excitement. Like, okay, they like me. They really, really like me. And then as soon as that passes, you're like, there's some other guys that are pretty good too. They probably could have got in if they deserved it. I think the process of voting in the Pro Bowl is an interesting one, where the fans vote. Now, granted, remember, if you're on a popular team, that's probably going to help you a lot. If you have nowadays with the way Twitter operates, if you have a good team that is good in social, that probably helps you out a lot. If you have a good Twitter, it helps you out a lot. If you're in like a wasteland, for instance, a team that never gets talked about, if you're like the Sacramento Kings of the NFL, it's probably going to be very difficult for you to get into the Pro Bowl strictly because 1/3 of the vote revolves around having fans. And if you're a team that doesn't have fans, like the Detroit Lions don't have a lot of fans. They have fans, but it's not a massive amount of fans because people like winners, and that's a team that hasn't done that a lot.
True.
And by the way, anybody that says like, oh, you're a fair weather fan, everybody's a fair weather fan. Look at stadiums whenever teams are doing well, and look at stadiums whenever teams aren't doing well. There's only a couple teams that can really carry their weight, and that's because it's been around for generations and generations. But whenever you're in a big market on a good team or you're on primetime television a lot, obviously it's going to be skewed for the fans a little bit more. But I think it's a third fans, a third players, and a third coaches. I think they should add refs into that. Now, I think refs should also get a vote because they're on the field.
Yeah.
Like for me, every time I punted in the years that I was doing well towards the back half of my career, like me and the refs would have a great interaction. Like if I hit the hell out of one, they'd be like, Pat, bomb it. Like it would be like a good give and take while we're jogging down the field together. And if I hit one not so good, they'd be like, Patty, we look forward to this. And you just hit a shit, you know what I mean? Like there's like a real thing. I think refs who are on the field should have a little bit more of a say. Now, granted, they'll get it wrong. I mean, the Alberto Riveron gang will get it wrong this year. But I think there is something to be said about making the Pro Bowl. And if you're a guy who got snubbed and you haven't made it before, know that, yes, I can understand you're upset. Like Aaron Jones, for instance, of the Green Bay Packers. I'm sure he hasn't made a Pro Bowl yet. This year, he's been incredible. I mean, if you talk to Packers fans, you're talking about a guy who should be in MVP conversations for how well he's not in it. Austin Eckler for the Los Angeles Chargers, he's one of their biggest upsides. He's not in it, right? Dak Prescott was a snub, everybody says. He's playing for a 7-7 team. He has 11 interceptions. That's going to be difficult. But he has been also the most prolific offensive player in the NFL. He didn't make it. And Dak's been to the Pro Bowl before, I'm assuming. Has Dak been a Pro Bowler?
I think I've seen him playing dodgeball.
Quarterback for the Cowboys. Let's assume he's been in there before. So he's probably not taking it as bad as the people who have never made it, who have never had that feeling of being appreciated by their peers. And I think that's what it's all about. He's a 2-time Pro Bowler?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's a quarterback for the Cowboys is going to make it in there.
Well, the good news for Dak is they'll probably lose their first playoff game, and he'll get to go as an alternate anyway. So
That's probably how I got him before, I assume.
Oh, come on,
geez,
Tone.
take it easy.
I mean, Kirk Cousins is the biggest snub out of all of them.
I think Kirk Cousins, primetime Kirk, was born this year. Let's assume he should have been in there, but that NFC batch is a tough group to crack. I mean, you're talking in quarterbacks. That is a tough batch to crack right there. Drew Brees just broke every single record. He was out for 4 games and still gets in, which I'd assume would piss some people off. Aaron Rodgers, he currently has 24 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and is leading 11-3 or 10-3. What are they, 11-3 at this point?
Yeah.
I think they're 11-3 team. Yeah, you could talk about how he hasn't been as good as he has been in the past, but he's a quarterback for an 11-3 team. He has threw 2 interceptions in 24 touchdowns. I mean, that's a hell of a stat line. Do other people potentially make it in above him? Maybe. Maybe Kirk Cousins, who's done well, but they've lost to the Packers already. They play on Monday Night Football. Kirk Cousins has had a hell of a year, but they started out a little slow. And Russell Wilson's an MVP candidate. I mean, the NFC 3 is a tough one to crack. Very tough one to crack. Although Dak and Kirk, I would assume, in any other year would deserve it. And in the AFC, Lamar Jackson is an absolute unicorn anomaly, game changer for football. I'm happy that he got the most votes. This guy's changing football. Patty Mahomes is the face of the NFL, was the face of the NFL before Lamar Jackson became the face of the NFL. Pat Mahomes gets hurt. They lose a couple games. Lamar Jackson just continues to shine. He becomes, and Deshaun Watson, the Michael Jordan of the NFL, Davos, when he said this year has had a hell of a year. Also to be noted, 4 of the 6 quarterbacks that are voted into the Pro Bowl this year are African-American quarterbacks. That is massive. That is a big storyline. They were talking about it on ESPN this morning. They were talking about it on every other show this morning. That is big news, not only for the position, but for our society, by the way. Good for our society, good for the game of football, and good for the position of quarterback to be a much more diverse position, because for a long time, the position was dominated by the richest kids, the kids who had all the best coaching for all the years, the kids who come from the best schools, the smartest people, they say. All these things were criteria that basically had to be in place for you to become a quarterback. Now it's like, hey, who's the best players? Who can make plays? Who are the guys who are the studs and stars of their team? Let's get them in there, and I'm happy the NFL is becoming a much more diverse operation, especially at the face of the team, which is the quarterback position.
Those AFC quarterbacks, if you're another AFC franchise, that's tough to look at because all 3 of those quarterbacks are very young and very good.
Tom Brady's first time not making a Pro Bowl since 2008.
Whoa.
By the way, there's a guy that never goes to the Pro Bowl. Normally because he's in the Super Bowl. But if he's not in the Super Bowl, it's probably the same thing as me. Like, very cool to be recognized. Yeah, me and Tom, same. Very cool to be recognized. But at some point, it's just like, I mean, who gives a damn what these people say?
Especially because it feels like as a young player, it's so hard to crack into the Pro Bowl. Like this year, I saw Kuechly's in it again, and the Carolina Panthers defense has been terrible, and he is the main point of that defense.
A lot of name recognition.
Yeah.
Like, for instance, Pouncey's in for the Pittsburgh
Correct.
Steelers. He's been in there, I think, since my first Pro Bowl. Pouncey's been
8 times, yeah.
Yeah, and he's just the name. The name
correct.
helps. And an offensive line normally it's a name game for offensive line because it doesn't get a lot of pub, but I don't think anybody gives a damn, except for the people that haven't made a Pro Bowl yet. Because you want to be able to say for the rest of your life you're a Pro Bowler. Like, for instance, I will forever be an all-pro Pat McAfee, right? Because the media, the association, whatever they are, voted me as an all-pro one time. You could say that to me. Now, granted, we lost the Super Bowl to Drew Brees, who's also an all-pro. Would have been nice to be Super Bowl champion, all-pro Pat McAfee. Even though I don't deserve either of those titles, I think you could give them to anybody at any given time. That's something you can never take away from you, and that's why the young people care about it a lot more than the older players who just want to win, I'd assume.
Oh, yeah. Richard Sherman got $1 million for getting in today.
Yeah.
So that's pretty nice.
Massive. Yeah, if it wasn't for the financial benefit, like for me, the $250,000 bonus was like, let's go.
We don't even get to go to Hawaii anymore either.
Yeah, well, no, when I went, it wasn't in Hawaii either. It was in Arizona. We had to practice 3 hours into the desert.
Come on.
Yeah, and they didn't shut down the whole hotel. They had just a bunch of randoms floating around the hotel.
The bad sand, not the good sand.
I mean, whoa.
What?
Don't say that about Arizona, bro.
Beach sand's way better. Has water.
I agree. That's a desert where there is.
No water. But if you crack a cactus open,
Yep, you can drink from that.
Yes.
We didn't do any
Diarrhea water,
We didn't
though.
do any cactus cracking. The only thing I did was hammer strawberry margs because it was the week after we lost to the Patriots by 400 and Deflategate was potentially happening. But I think the Pro Bowl, although when it was back in Hawaii and you were a kid, I used to be like, man, I hope I make the Pro Bowl one day. All these skills challenges, the luau's, the beautiful weather. And then I make it, and it's like in Arizona. We got a bunch of randoms in the hotel. They wanted me to go build a sidewalk in the middle of the desert. I'm like, what are we doing here? I thought this was good. I didn't think this was a bad thing.
Did they get the for the brand correct?
Brett Kern is the most underrated punter in the history of the NFL. I'm happy he gets a Pro Bowl nod from Tennessee. He's been very good for a long time. Justin Tucker, obviously, Justin Tucker's Justin Tucker. He focuses on focusing. Will Lutz, guest of the show, friend of the show, as is Justin Tucker. Brett Kern's never been on the show, huh?
No.
He and I are like friends, too.
you should change that.
We should. I don't know how much media he does. I think he's kind of a quiet guy, but he's a hell of a punter. And Tress Way has a massive leg, massive lefty there from Oklahoma. I guess he's a really good athlete. I think, by the way, haven't seen a lot of Redskins games, so I assume he's done well.
They punt a lot.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of teams punting a lot, but he has a big old leg. I'm happy he makes it in. And Rick Lovato and Morgan Cox, good representatives for the first time long snappers, have been actually voted in as opposed to just chosen in. Good for them. They can go down for the rest of their lives as the first long snappers that were actually voted in to the Pro Bowl as opposed to just selected in by the coaches that are coaching the two teams. Good for them. Slater, stud.
How about the Chiefs? Like, I mean, if Nicole Hardman wasn't the returner, just throw Tyreek Hill back there.
Yeah, I'm very happy, like, for the brand punters that they no longer have Tyreek Hill back there, but they just found another one. You know what I mean? They found another guy in Hardman who's faster than everybody somehow. He's elusive and he has no fear, which is what a returner has to have. And Deontay Harris for the Saints, I don't think I've seen enough of him.
He's small and he's very quick.
That's the biggest thing for returners is the ability to be quick. Mm-hmm. If you're a kickoff returner, you got to be fast. If you're a punt returner, you got to be quick. If you have both of those, you're normally a very good returner for years and years and years. But the high football IQ, okay, to know when to take a risk and catch something, when not to for field position. And then also no fear. Like, you have to have no fear, because all I'm trying to do is hang it up there high enough that you, like Pez, there was a couple returners that as soon as their head would go like this, we knew they would wait fair catch because they couldn't see who was coming, right? So all you're trying to do is hit the ball high so there's no return and it's over. Some of these dudes have no fear at all. They could have 9 humans that are running 4 6s, 4 4s, 4 7s right in their face, and they're like, nope, I'm gonna make something out of nothing. Those, whenever you have somebody like that, you got to hang on to them. And a lot of teams don't. They let them just kind of go and whatever, they figure it out. Mm-hmm. But for me, Pro Bowl, All-Pro, very good honor for all these people. But I think as they get older, they'll realize that it's all just a bunch of malarkey. And that's what it is. That's all it is.
I was looking it up. Pac-Man Jones, 96 returns without a fair catch.
Yeah, that was his thing. I told him I was going to get him on one too. Whenever we played him, I was like, I'm going to get you the fair catch one. He said, not me, P-Mac. But they wouldn't put him in for pooch areas.
So that, yeah.
So, you know what I mean? They wouldn't put him in for pooch areas, which
makes sense.
Probably because, like, you don't need. They knew he wouldn't. So there's like a chance for something. But he was a Pac-Man Jones. He was All-Pro returner of the year. I went in. He's unbelievable.
I love that, man.
Zero fear. Zero fear at any time. Anybody can get it. You're at an airport in Atlanta. He's eating Popeyes. You want to say something, you can get it. I mean, he had zero fear. Him, Devin Hester, Julian Edelman was a great returner for a long time. They don't have him return anymore. They have Mohamed Sanu, who is not a good returner back then.
Was Dante Hall still in the league when you were there?
No, but I got a chance to meet Dante Hall, I think, at the draft. He was a good guy, cool guy. Didn't get a chance to get to him. Cordero Patterson used to be a stud because he never really did anything. He never.
He's still a stud kick returner. He made it this year.
Yeah, he made it.
He made it as a special teamer, I think, right? Because he's been covering on Gunner, yeah. He made it as a special teamer, I think, which is awesome, by the way. Cordero was transferred into that. He got screwed last week against the Packers where he blew up a returner, and they called.
Oh, don't even get me started.
The Bears could have won that game early.
They're done. They went down.
They did go down. Let's hit the music. Let's get to a break. 1-833-622-3331. We'll hit the phone calls before we talk to legendary Steve Berline.
Yes.
Scott?
Steve
Berline.
Have some respect.
And shout out to Pac-Man's grandma. Passed away. R.I.P.
Rest in peace, Pac-Man's grandma.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thankful for Pac-Man. He came into our show in Cincinnati. Mm-hmm. Place went bonkers for him.
And he was awesome.
I love Pac-Man.
He's the man.
I mean, granted, Pac-Man has made mistakes. I think that has been very well documented. But I think the human he's become is one that we could all really be proud of.
Who doesn't make mistakes?
Everybody.
Is it crazy he's only a one-time Pro Bowler?
See?
A little bit of a reputation there. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. That's why it's hard to.
It just hurts me inside. I'm sorry.
Every year the Pro Bowl snub thing goes, and you see incredible players. And it's like, the more and more you read those, the more and more you're like, nah,
yeah.
Who cares?
He also played time in the AFC when it was like Revis, Charles Woodson, Champ Bailey.
Don't bring them up,
It was a tough time.
Yeah, but returner, he should have made it.
Yeah.
Give the holiday gift that families across America have loved for over 100 years this holiday season from our friends at Omaha Steaks. Omaha Steaks is America's original butcher, bringing families together since 1917. Order with complete confidence today. Right now, Omaha Steaks is sharing an amazing limited-time offer with our listeners, and there's still time to place your order for the holidays. Go to omahasteaks.com and enter the code AMERICA in the search bar to order the favorite gift package, the gift everyone will love, for only $69.99. Just want to let you know, I saw an Omaha Steaks commercial last night on television.
Oh.
For everybody else, this is $79.99.
Oh, come on.
For us, $10 less, $69.99. Whenever you order the favorite gift package, enter the code AMERICA at omahasteaks.com for $69.99 as opposed to $79.99 that other people are getting, which is still a great deal. You get 4 6-ounce bacon-wrapped filet mignons, the most tender steak in the world, 4 savory premium pork chops, 4 Omaha Steaks burgers, 4 perfectly browned potatoes au gratin, 4 made-from-scratch caramel apple tartlets, an Omaha Steaks signature seasoning packet, plus, for listeners of this show, a free 6-piece cutlery set and a cutting board. All this delicious food, plus the free cutlery set, they'll enjoy for years to come for only $69.99. Omaha Steaks are the most tender, the most flavorful, and you can only get steaks of this quality from Omaha Steaks, America's original butcher. Every order is flash frozen, vacuum sealed, safely delivered in a cooler with dry ice, ready to cook. Omaha Steaks also delivers the best burgers, pork, poultry, and more. All orders are backed by an unconditional 100% money-back guarantee. Again, order now and you can get the favorite gift holiday package plus the free 6-piece cutlery set and cutting board for only $69.99. Just go to omahasteaks.com and type America in the search bar. Don't wait. If you want to take advantage of this offer and get your gift there before the holidays are over, go to omahasteaks.com, type America into the search bar to order the gift package everyone will love, the favorite gift package. We'll get to the phones on the other side. 1027, you're listening to the Pat McAfee Show.
Ten years ago, I had an undiagnosed heart condition, and erectile dysfunction was actually the first sign that something was wrong.
Luckily, I'm a doctor, an expert in sexual health, and Zach's dad.
Not everyone has a doctor in the house, and some health conditions can be really tough to talk about. We started Roman to change that.
Now you can go online and chat with a physician.
And if treatment is right for you, we'll ship genuine medication right to your door. If you're experiencing ED, hair loss, cold sores, or other issues, let's take care of it. It's simple.
Welcome back to the Pat McAfee Show, 10:31 here in the Eastern Standard Time Zone. Foxy and I are getting haircuts. This is a big day today.
Yes, sir.
Big day today. I mean, I just feel so fat when I don't have a haircut.
Interesting.
What's that?
You sent out an interesting tweet last night.
What's that?
Something about a diet starting today.
Yeah, and then I had a bacon, egg, and cheese croissant sandwich.
Oh, so good.
I was going to be in it with you too, and then you came in and said you weren't doing the diet, so I pushed mine back too.
Well, everybody came after me on the internet too.
Can't start in the middle of the week.
Well, not only that, I guess January 1st is right around the bend.
It is.
Oh, that's a fake one, though.
What do you mean?
Everyone says they're going to do it, and 3 days in, they give out.
Well, actually, 80%. I did the stats
Yeah.
for a New Year's Eve show. It's either 82% of New Year's resolutions end 12 days into the new year. So every year, January 1st, new year, new me, new year, new me. This year, it's all about self-care and self-wealth and not caring about other people. And stats say that a large majority by January 13th, they're going to be back to being fat and caring exactly what everybody else says about them.
Amen.
And that's just the way things work. And I fall right into that stat.
We're screwed this year. New Year's Day, January 1st is on a Wednesday.
Oh, yeah.
we can't-
Push
you
to
can't
next
start-
year.
My lady last night said
Smart.
she started on January 2nd. She said she'll start her diet on January 2nd for the wedding because we have a wedding coming up. So she said she's starting her fitness life January 2nd because January 1st she wants to be lazy,
Yeah.
she said. I'd like to be lazy on January 1st.
Watch college
Makes
football.
sense.
Yeah, exactly. That's what Sam
All
wants to do.
bowl games.
Yeah, Sammy Lynn, 24, wants to watch college football on January 1st.
Sauerkraut and kielbasa.
By the way, Sam has like 30,000 followers now on Instagram.
Hey.
Whoa.
She feels like she's a real influencer.
She is. I think that's the demarcation.
30,000?
30,000. Yeah, you're an influencer now. Congrats, Sam.
Congrats.
Congrats, Sam.
Congrats, Sammy. That's how I know if people know her or not. If people come up to me and they're like, tell Sammy I said hello, I'm like, oh, you know her from the internet. And if people come up and say, hey, tell Sam we said, what's up? It's like, oh, you actually know Sam. Okay. Her fact that her Instagram thing is Sammy Lynn, I don't think anybody on earth calls her that. Like, I don't think I've heard a single human that knows her call her Sammy Lynn.
When you say Sammy, I think Sammy Davis Jr.
Yeah, same.
Is that really what you think?
That was the first thing I thought about when you said that.
Well, hey, then that's an accurate statement, what you just said.
It's a beautiful mind.
I thought the diet was going to be spurned from you and Zito eating a whole cake.
Oh,
yesterday by
shut up.
yourselves.
Hey, Nick came after me yesterday for no reason.
No
We've been in a
reason.
really bad spot, though. Sunday night, we were in that suite. We got chicken fingers. We got pizza.
Oh,
and then we were
dude,
on the
those
plane.
wings.
We got more wings. We got more chicken fingers.
And
Then
another cake.
Oh, that cake.
Yesterday, FanDuel delivers lunch to the office,
A
pizza
billion
and
things.
wings.
A
And
billion
then
things.
CBDMD sent a cake from New York. The best cake in New York was sent
Jay brought
here.
in cookies.
Oh, Jay.
What are we supposed to do?
It's not our fault.
I
Hey,
feel bad, though. I didn't know you were being fat shamed online.
I've been being fat shamed. Ohio State fans have been coming after me because it's Urban Meyer personal beef I have with him. Now I got all these buffoons from Ohio. Now, it's not the entire Ohio State fan base. I would like that to be known. We sold out a theater in Columbus in like a minute and a half or something like that. So I understand we got a lot of love in Columbus. But the old whites, Buckeye fans, have been coming after me for me and Urban Meyer's beef. I am a guy who hates people forever. I'm thinking about making it right with Urban Meyer, strictly so these old whites will stop coming after me.
Bolo tie wearing idiot.
Yeah, that's exactly. Oh, you don't have enough money to afford sleeves? And I was like, got him. Like yesterday could have been killing season on Twitter with these old whites coming after me. And the amount of restraint I showed was so, I think I'm ready for kids. Like, I think I'm ready. I never knew I had this type of, hey, good for me. I had no idea I had this type of restraint because I'm reading these things and then I click on their profile and I start scanning through their tweets and their pictures and everything. I'm like,
that makes it even harder.
this guy doesn't even know that I could just ruin him right now. I understand people think they're good at, trash talking and things like that. And I respect that. And I think I've encountered some of the best in the history. If you want to get into a mental joust with me, I am 100% okay with that and ready to go. You just better hope that you have your entire Twitter wiped clean of anything because I will do my research because you know a lot about me. You know a lot about me. I'm going to do my research on you, and then let's go ahead and have at it. I'm very okay with that. But now I'm a new man. I showed restraint yesterday. I put the phone down for like 20 minutes, actually, while I had an entire tweet up that I probably would have made a guy quit Twitter, and I didn't. I deleted it. I put it in the drafts, and I just went away.
I'm impressed.
I got a question for
Thank
you.
you.
You've been on the internet for a long time,
Long time.
and you're getting better. Like
People forget.
the more I'm on the
Long.
internet,
Hey,
less restraint.
hey, that Twitter. Hey, I got a lot of real estate on that Twitter, pal. And there's a reason. It's not because I just fell to the top of the Twitter mountain, pal. It's because the words I can put together and pretty good fashion on there. And a lot of these people are just making it way too easy. Way too. A lot of these Ohio State fans that are coming at me, way too easy they're making it. And I let them all live. Let them live. Let him live. Normally it's kill him. And I didn't. Now that I'm older, I'm 32 years old. I got hemorrhoids.
Wise.
I let him live. Mm-hmm. Kind of feel soft.
No.
I did. I went to bed last night. I had to take double dosage CBD because I couldn't sleep with myself. Let's take a phone before we get to a break because we got Scott Berline on the other side.
Come on.
What's that?
Steve Berline.
Stevie B.
Jacksonville Jaguar, Carolina Panther legend.
Let's go to James in Findlay, Ohio. OH! OH!
Hey, what is going on with the Detroit Lions wanting to keep Quinn and Patricia when they got rid of Caldwell and he had a 9-game average winning season?
James, that's a great question. And I think we said a couple weeks ago that we thought they could potentially keep Patricia another season just to see if he can ever get over the hump. Mm-hmm. Because the Detroit Lions have been in this cyclical fashion where they have a guy, they fire him, have another guy, they fire him, have another guy, they fire him, and there's never any real success. Now, Jim Caldwell was my coach at the Indianapolis Colts when I got there. I love Jim Caldwell as a person and as a coach. He got fired from the Colts after we decided to suck, and then he goes to the Lions, or he goes to the Ravens first as an offense coordinator, does well with them, gets a head coaching gig with the Lions, does pretty good, but they say he's got no emotion. This guy's dry milk. He does this, he does that. He's winning seasons there. They get rid of him, bring him out, take him out of there. He ain't going to get us over the hump. Bring in a new guy, Matt Patricia, who for the last year has been talking about getting his guys in there and getting his system in there, and I think he started doing that. There just hasn't been any signs of success. If you give him one more year, what is it, another year of failure in Detroit? Like, that's going to happen, but what if he hits? Then really, did you give up on a guy too soon, which is what they might think they did with Jim Caldwell, which might be the reason why they're giving Matt Patricia another year.
So you do believe, like college coaches, it's like, hey, let them get their recruits in there, like 4 years. Let them get their guys in there, see what happens. I know it's different for the NFL because you're not recruiting, but you're also doing free agency and drafting and things like that. So you think there should be a time period for let them get his guys in there that he thinks will fit his position.
Culture.
Yes, culture.
Yeah, the culture. I think you have to set your culture up. Like Chris Ballard said, he wasn't going to spend any money on these free agents because he wanted to build the culture within the locker room of his guys. He did that with Darius Leonard, Quentin Nelson, and likes of that nature. So I would assume Matt Patricia's looking to do the same thing. Now, the Colts have lost the last 6 of 7. 6 of the last 7. That is a tough go, but I think that culture is one that Chris Ballard now feels like he can bring people in and take over. Matt Patricia is trying to build his culture up there. There just hasn't been many signs of success. Now, granted, one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL's entire career has almost been completely wasted in Detroit, but that has to get turned around quickly at some point.
And the defense has been the issue, and that's what scares me. And also, like, ever since the day he was hired, it's been drama. And, like, Patricia, our guy, he let us in his office.
Very
we
nice
interviewed
to us.
him. But there's been drama since day one. Like Glover Quinn's been coming out saying that he's been he came in and literally looked down on the players because he was a Patriot and, you know, they are Detroit Lions. That's what I have an issue with.
That's quite
and you know
savage
what?
move.
And you know what? They're
Hey,
talking
you
about,
guys stink here. Hey, this is a Super Bowl ring. Ever heard of it?
and
I think so.
That's tough to do when you have Bill Belichick as the head coach of the team that won those Super Bowls.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, anytime you have a shift in leadership, it's always going to be interesting. And if it doesn't work, you got to move on. And if it does work, you got to hold on. Mm-hmm. But I think they've learned from their experience in the past where they fired people too early. Jim Caldwell probably being one of those cases where they're like, let's give him another shot. People talking about the Lions selling, though. We'll see how that goes. We got to get to a break. We got Scott Berline on the other side, 17-year NFL quarterback. Can't wait to chat with him. You're listening to The Pat McAfee Show. This is going to be riveting stuff on the other side. Know that. Steve Berline. His name's Steve. Respect.
Hey guys, if you're experiencing erectile dysfunction, you can now get treated anywhere. Like here, even here. Okay, maybe not there. That's why we built Roman. So it's easy to get ED meds prescribed online delivered to your door. Just visit GetRoman.com, chat with a U.S. licensed physician, and if treatment is right for you, you'll get genuine medication delivered in discreet packaging. Get started with your free online visit at GetRoman.com/TV.
Welcome back to the Pat McAfee Show. Joining us now is 17-year NFL quarterback, Pro Bowler, CBS analyst for both college football and NFL foosball, Steve Perline. What up, Steve?
Hey, Pat, how's it going?
Steve, not too shabby. How are you doing, pal?
I'm doing great. What's going on?
Just hanging out. Yesterday, the Pro Bowler announcement came out. Was there any surprises in your eyes as a football analyst and a guy that played in the NFL for 17 years?
Well, you know what? I'm going to be honest with you. I haven't gone through and looked at it overly closely yet. I will say this, that you look at the obvious things like the number of guys from Baltimore that made it. It's just an absolute, testament to the great job that they've done this year. And the guy who I love, I've always been tooting his horn as the head coach, John Harbaugh. I think he's an absolute just miracle worker, proven commodity, a guy that knows how to get the most out of his team and has done a masterful job this year and allowed coaches to coach and his players to play, creating the offense that they have, and always a great defense. So they're being rewarded for that with 12 players going to the Pro Bowl. And, the one that was obviously the snub that some people are looking at most significant, but I don't disagree with it, is Dak Prescott. He's been up there leading or at the top of the passing statistics all year, but the bottom line is the team been achieving or not? We know that the Cowboys have been so up and down. I think that's a reflection in the vote, or that's reflected in the vote, I should say. And I think that's one that jumps out as a kind of a shocking thing. Most of the time with the number of Cowboys fans in the country and with Dak Prescott putting up the numbers that he's put up, you would think he would have found his way into at least the third position. But I think it's actually accurate that it came out the way that it did. So I'm sure there are a few others, but I haven't looked at it that closely yet.
Okay, well, here's one. Tom Brady was not voted in the Pro Bowl for the first time since 2008. As a guy that was in the NFL for 17 years, are we watching the end of Tom Brady, or are we watching the end of an era for Tom Brady with the Patriots, you think?
Well, I'm not going to say for a second that I'm going to count out Tom Brady, because we've tried to do that before, and he always seems to come back, and I'm not entirely convinced, even though I don't think they're going to go deep into the playoffs this year. I'm not convinced that they don't have it in them to make it interesting, at least. But what this shows me is that this is, at least people are looking at the right things, because even Tom Brady, if he was being 100% honest, would say, I don't deserve to go to the Pro Bowl this year. And so this, a lot of times, like Major League Baseball, like to not be going to the Pro Bowl, I think is the people got it right. The players making the voting and the fans, the whatever percentage the fans count, they got it right, because Tom Brady hasn't been one of the top quarterbacks in the league this year, and this is the right call, I think.
All right, let's pivot to college football. You're a college football analyst. You watch the game. Who do you think wins outright? Is Ohio State just going to buzzsaw through everybody? Is Joe Burrow going to find a weakness? Or is the Clemson team that hasn't been tested all year, not by their fault, going to win it all? Or is somehow Lincoln Riley and Jalen Hurts going to be able to string together a couple games?
Well, I think really it's a three-team race here. I really think that Oklahoma is a second-tier team, and I think that fourth spot, no matter who you put in there, it was going to be they're a different level of opponent. The top three, by far, in my opinion, are LSU, the Clemson, and of course, Ohio State. I did the Ohio State Wisconsin Big Ten championship game on Compass Radio, and boy, I'll tell you what, the tale of two halves in that game. I was sure that Wisconsin was going to run away with that game when they scored a touchdown on the last drive of the first half to go up 2 scores, answering Ohio State's only touchdown of the game. I was sure that Ohio State was going to go down, but man, they came out in that second half. The adjustments that the coaches made showed me a lot about them, both sides of the ball. And then the way Justin Fields played, even on on a hobbled knee, a weak knee. He had a brace on. He wasn't his normal self, but he came out and made throws. Chase Young became an impact guy in the second half. The team just really stepped it up and showed me a lot. But having said that, the team that everybody talks about and that they're scared about and unsure about is Clemson. So I think you got to be. I mean, I think they can beat any of the other two, but really the best team all year has been LSU, in my opinion, and I think that's the team to beat. If I got to pick a horse, I'm going to go with Joe Burrow, the Heisman Trophy winner, and LSU over two other really good football teams. But I do like LSU.
All right, well, Steve, I can't thank you enough for your big brain. 17 years in the NFL, Super Bowl champ, Pro Bowler. I appreciate you a lot for calling in, making time for us today. Ladies and gentlemen, Steve Berline. Thank you, Steve.
All right, you got it, guys. Take care.
See ya. Steve Berline, I didn't get a chance to ask there, came to my New Year's Eve show a couple of years ago. He was in town calling a game for Compass Radio. Heard he had a good time.
Great time.
Heard he had a great time. I'm very thankful for him joining us there. He lost signal there probably during his most important answer, but it's okay. Any notable news that we did not get to in this first hour, Nick, that we should before we have to break here in about 3 minutes?
Yeah, Congress is expected to prohibit the sale of tobacco products to people under the age of 21 in part of a new health care reform sweep.
That's interesting to me. I think everybody's worried about high schoolers being in the e-cigs, right? That's the whole thing. Mm-hmm. They're normally under the age of 18 in high school, right?
Correct.
So is the move to 21 going to make that big of a difference? I'm not 100% sure. Good for them. Didn't it used to be like 15 or something, Todd? Todd, didn't like tobacco used to be like 15 back in the day? 16 or something?
All I know is I used to be sent to the little mini mart in our town when I was like 7 and could buy cigarettes from my dad. So whether or not it was the law or not, it certainly wasn't enforced.
Okay. Well, anything else, Nick?
MLS is expected to put a team in Charlotte with an expansion fee of $325 million awarded to a group backed by David Tepper, the Charlotte Panthers owner. Carolina Panthers
$325 million to get an MLS team? Huh. There's no way you're getting that money back, right?
No way.
No way.
Sport of the future.
Lacrosse? Dippin' Dots? The MLS?
Charlotte soccer.
They're also asking for $110 million in taxpayer money for the stadium.
I can't wait. $325 million. Get a Dairy Queen instead. I think it's only like $50,000 or something like that. Aside from Ibrahimovic and aside from Wayne Rooney, when do you watch soccer?
Perlo.
Huh?
Andre, it's Pirlo. But in the United States, never.
I think Ibrahimovic was awesome to watch there.
Yeah, he left too.
Yeah, and he's
left. Going back.
Yeah, and I think he even trashed the league while he was leaving. He made a couple $100 million. Trashed the league while he was gone. $325 million for a team. They must not want more teams. That must be. That must be.
I think they're just squeezing Tepper because they know he's loaded.
Well, I hate Steven Singer.
Oh, don't get me started.
You heard me. I hate Steven Singer. There's this guy in Philly you've been hearing me talk about. If you've been to Philly, you may have seen him on billboards or heard him on the radio. I hate Steven Singer. This time of year, most jewelers love to hate Steven. Why? Because Steven has the most beautiful, best value diamond studs anywhere, and I mean anywhere. Diamond stud earrings are the #1 must-have gift this holiday. You can choose a great pair of Anita diamond stud earrings for under $270, and they're the best quality as well. Bright white with tons of sparkle. Don't settle for cheap diamonds that look like frozen spit. Buy real diamonds from a real jeweler you can trust. Steven Singer Jewelers. Steven also gives everyone a full value lifetime trade-in guarantee. That means you can trade up your diamond studs for the full value anytime. Steven makes holiday shopping easy, but don't wait any longer. This is your last chance to order with free shipping in time for Christmas. Order by 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time this Friday, December 20th, with free shipping, and it will arrive in time for Christmas. Go right now to IHateStevenSinger.com or visit The Real Steven Singer on the other corner of 8th and Walnut in Philly. Real diamonds, real experts, real jewelers. No one does real diamond studs even better. Steven Singer Jewelers, that's IHateStevenSinger.com. We'll be back on the other side. Big thanks to Stephen Berline. Talking more sports and the football on The Pat McAfee Show, Wednesday, December 18th.
On average, people have to wait 29.3 days to see a doctor. Anyone living with erectile dysfunction, hair loss, or cold sores knows that kind of wait just won't work. That's why there's Roman, the digital health clinic for men. Complete a free online visit, and you'll hear back from a U.S. licensed physician within 24 hours. If medication is right for you, Roman delivers it with free 2-day shipping, always in discreet packaging. Get started today with a free online visit at GetRoman.com/TV. Roman, let's take care of it.
It's the perfect occasion for a mental vacation from the heart of the nation. Not a young medication, 2 hours of magic. Let's give it a go. Ladies and gents, it's the Pat McAfee Show.
That's right, Chase Rice. Yes, it is. I am the man the show is named after. Not every day I want to be, but today's a good day to be great. Joining me at Nick Moraldo on the ones and twos. How's it going, Nick?
Great, man.
Good
to be here and be healthy.
At Tone Diggs. Speaking of that, we're missing two members. Boston Connor woke up puking. Ty woke up on his birthday today, sick. They are both at home healing their ailments. Jason McAfee's here. Zito's here. Foxy's here. And Todd's on the phones, 1-833-622-3331. I believe the phone lines are full. Standard operation. We will get to those, though. Steve Berline joined us in the first hour, riveting stuff. In this hour, Ryan Leaf will be joining us later to talk about college football. And also, he has an interesting take about Josh Gordon, I do believe, which I'm excited to hear. Ryan Leaf, noted guy who's been through some stuff, had a lot of talent, has come out the other side. I don't want to say victorious, but he's been through a lot. Yes. He's come out the other side. Can't wait to chat with him. We talked about the Pro Bowl selection and Pro Bowl snubs in the first hour a little bit. We talked about how 12 Baltimore Ravens being selected, which is the most since the 1973 Dolphins, is just indicative of how good that team is. I think that's exciting. But I think we all agree that the Ravens probably going to be in the Super Bowl, so ain't none of them going to play.
Probably.
You don't think they're going to be in the Super Bowl?
Them are the Chiefs. Some are the Chiefs.
I know the Chiefs are getting hot right now, too. I mean, the Chiefs are getting hot right now. That defense, Tyrann Mathieu, big snub. We did not mention that in the first hour. Tyrann Mathieu has done something to that Chiefs defense that has kind of pivoted them from being the talk about how is their defense going to be able to keep up and be able to stop people. Tyrann Mathieu has become an absolute monster. Honey Badger has also been tweeting a lot about how Honey Badger don't care about anything. I like the Tyrann Mathieu's all the way back. There's a picture of him in a Cardinals uniform, which is not the team he currently plays for, but he is a Kansas City Chief, and he's a very good one at that. I like the fact – there's another guy that's been through some stuff and has found some success. I like good stories like that. Nick, there was some stuff we didn't get to in the first hour. Let's do some notable news with old Nick.
Josh Allen's selfie has been hung up in an art gallery. A Bills fan posted the selfie that Allen took with him on Twitter, and he said that the photo should be hung up in the Albright Knox gallery. So the gallery did just that, and they went ahead and hung it up with the tweet caption.
So what does this mean? So Josh Allen, I guess there was a bunch of fans waiting for the Buffalo Bills whenever they got home from the big victory down there in Heinz Field that we were at, where they beat an undefeated quarterback in Duck Hodges. They made Duck Hodges not look like an undefeated quarterback for a night. I mean, Duck Hodges has been named starter for the Steelers going forward, but the Buffalo Bills in a playoff atmosphere, in a playoff game, must-win game, get a massive win to prove that Sean McDermott has built that Buffalo Bills team all the way up. They are now 6.5-point dogs against New England. I think everybody in this room is potentially hammering the Buffalo Bills. But whenever they got home after that game, after Sunday Night Football, all of Buffalo, who wasn't at Heinz Field because they had a large presence there, all of Buffalo and Bills Mafia was waiting for them. Josh Allen takes a selfie through a fence. Now that picture is now going up in a museum in Buffalo. Bills Mafia deserves this run. Bills Mafia is excited about this run. And I'm happy, and I think Josh Allen's the perfect guy to be the face of it. Is he the best quarterback in the league? No. But is he a gritty quarterback who absolutely loves the game and will do whatever it takes to get a win? Yes, and I think the people of Buffalo absolutely love that.
Yeah, I mean, you got to be happy for organizations like this that will hang things in museums just for making the playoffs.
Oh, no, Tone. Come on.
Tony.
What's up?
Tony.
I used to love the Buffalo Bills fans. I used to love them.
A little bit louder now.
I mean, celebrating a regular season win at the airport.
It's not right. That was a playoff win.
Was it?
Yeah, got him in the playoffs. It secured the playoff for the first time in a long time. 10-win season for the first time in a long time. That is a monumental victory on primetime television to propel them into a place that they haven't been for a long time. Bills Mafia is excited about that. Bills Mafia for far too long has been celebrating mediocrity, right? They've been the only thing that has been worth watching in Buffalo when it came to the Bills for a long time. Hey, what's the clips that got on the internet most? Buffalo Bills playing football or Bills Mafia performing in the parking lot? Bills Mafia performing in the parking lot. Now, this year, not only is Bills Mafia putting on the parking lot, putting people through tables, showing up for about a quarter of the population in Heinz Field was Buffalo Bills fans. It was very loud there on Sunday Night Football. Now they actually have a team that's worth a damn, that's winning, and that represents that city. I'm happy for them. And it was more than just a regular season win. I think you guys would be acting very differently if this wasn't against the Pittsburgh Steelers.
No. It's just I just saw it because they were coming at me. But these organizations who haven't won in 20, 30 years, and then they finally taste some sort of victory. They just don't know how to control
Oh,
themselves.
Tony, you on your high horse.
Let's see if they can beat the Patriots.
Can you blame them though?
Yeah,
Can you blame
I
them?
can.
Why? As a diehard fan base that has tasted success for the first time in a long time, I'd be acting a fool too. I'd be like, imagine what the dog pound's going to be like if they can ever turn that thing around.
Well, we saw it. We saw it this summer.
did.
They thought they won the Super Bowl.
Well, I mean,
Come on.
Maybe that's rubbing it off on me towards the Bills.
what happened with the Browns?
Yeah.
Maybe. I got Buckeye fans coming after me right now, so I mean, they've been very good. So I can't even tell them. I can't even be like, yeah, you guys stink. They don't. They're probably going to win a national championship. I've been saying that this entire time, but I think I was the first national media member to say that Ohio State should be number one. I don't even know what we're doing here. I dressed up like Jim Tressel over there in Columbus.
You've had their back.
I've had their back this entire time. In a personal beef with a guy that they see as a deity has become a problem.
I hate it. I love the Bills. I love them all year long.
Just a weak heart.
A couple fans had to ruin it.
See, you can't listen. We tend to judge others by their worst representatives and judge ourselves by our best intentions. And you just can't do that, Diggs.
I have a hard time not doing it.
The Bills Mafia is a fan base that deserves success.
I'm sure 99% of them are great.
Bills Mafia actually hates me right now.
Why?
Because I filmed their sideline.
That was in an article. What article was that?
It was a couple, some NFL ones.
Anything else, Nick?
Yeah, the Titans are on the verge of wrapping up the ugliest season of kicking
No,
that the
don't say
NFL
it.
has ever seen.
No, don't say it.
So far this season, the Titans are 8 for 18 on field goals. If they don't improve over the final 2 weeks, they'll be the first team since the 1987 Vikings to miss more field goals than they've made.
This is not great for the brand, obviously. This is not great for the brand of kicking. Ryan Suckup got hurt his groin. They brought in another kicker. He missed. They bring Suckup back. He missed. Last week against the Texans in a playoff game, basically, a blocked field goal is the difference in not sending that thing to overtime. I mean, 8 of 18 is very difficult, especially whenever you're talking about professional ball kickers now. Suckup has been very good for a long time. Obviously, when you're injured and you're dealing with inches and milliseconds, a little bit of an off-kilter situation can affect that, obviously. But, man, the Titans are on such a good run, too. They were on such a good run. And the fact that they were able to do it with a field goal unit that has missed 10 kicks out of 18 kicks is absolute insanity. I saw a PFT commenter kick into the net yesterday, and he's a former rugby player. He's trying out for the D.C. Defenders in the XFL. I mean, they might as well just sign him. At least he'll sell some jerseys. They stink down there. Maybe Suckup will be able to get back because it's been a couple weeks removed there from the groin injury that he had. But, boy, that ball he kicked that got blocked looked a little low, and they're going to need it. I mean, that's just not great for the brand. PFT had a great kick. Didn't have as much ankle lock as you would hope on his kicking foot. It kind of bounced off a little bit, but he had good form, and 8 of 18 is just not good.
Yeah, Suckup's 1 for 6. Cairo Santos was 4 of 9, and then Cody Parkey was actually 3 for 3.
Oh, come on.
What?
Double doink, you know.
Yeah, but that got blocked. Maybe your offensive line should have blocked a little bit better and held on a little bit better. That never gets talked about. The only thing is blame on Cody Parkey because the commentators refuse to acknowledge the fact that it got blocked in real time. So bury the handsome kid that went to Auburn who's the kicker because it's an easy scapegoat.
I will say the training videos of him hitting poles his whole life did not help.
Yeah, no, that's a terrible training. That's not good, by the way. I would like everybody to know that back whenever I was a field goal kicker, I might not have known where it was going, but I ain't never trained on hitting a pole. No. Put that thing through the uprights. I don't care how it sneaks through there. Get it in there. I don't know why you would. Anything else, Nick?
Yeah, one more note here. Pelicans head coach Alvin Gentry said there's no return date yet for rookie Zion Williamson. He can currently work out with partial weight bearing, but he's yet to get back on the floor and take contact.
I'm gonna say I was wrong. I'm gonna say I was wrong. This guy, in my eyes, was the next one. This guy, in my eyes, was a guy that could change the NBA. This is a guy, in my eyes, that I couldn't wait to see him play against other grown men because it seems like he's been a grown man for 10 years. I've been watching highlights of this guy on the internet, what seems to be for a decade now. And he goes to Duke. He does the same exact thing, blows a shoe out because he's so powerful, still gets a Nike deal, still becomes the number 1 draft pick, gets a chance to get in there. And what we said was, he looks a little big. And we didn't want to body shame anybody, but through the history of the sport, it's been easy to tell that whenever guys get thinner, it's better for their career. LeBron James used to be a much bigger man. Then he got a lot smaller because the wear and tear on your body and how long the season is and how much running it is. Everybody seems to have bad knees in the NBA. I watched a Dennis Rodman documentary last night. His rookie season, he was like 26 years old or something like that. He was icing his knees his rookie season. That's just the way it is. And he was a slender guy. So the weight we always thought could potentially be an issue, but he was was so explosive. I figured he'd be able to get around it. And if he did lose some weight when he got in the NBA, when he gets around nutritionists and physical trainers and all these things, athletic trainers, and he really gets his life together and focuses strictly on, not that there is anything wrong with that, but if he just completely focuses on his body, I thought there was a chance where he's going to be able to jump directly into the hoop. I thought he was going to be able to jump up and put his whole body into the hoop. I was expecting that, and I was happy for that. I like seeing greats be great. I like seeing people that break the mold. That's why I love Lamar Jackson. I was excited for Zion Williamson, and now they don't even have a return date for the guy in his rookie season. This is not a good start. And everybody who's an old head's like, this guy's going to be a bust. This guy's going to be a bust. And I was like, no. This guy's going to be a game changer. This guy's going to be revolutionary. And right now it just looks like they were right and I was 100% wrong. I don't know what the hell's going on with him, but I hope they get him back on the court quick because I like seeing him. And I like him to be healthy. And I like to see the Pelicans fly. The Pelicans fly?
Oh, yeah.
I think so.
Oh, yeah.
With
Wide
fish
wings?
in their gullets.
Come on.
I'd like to see the Pelicans fly down there, but instead they have no return date and they've lost 13 straight.
Yeah, it was supposed to be 6 to 8 weeks. That 6 to 8 weeks has passed, and now that's just not. He's getting body shamed heavily.
Was it an ACL tear? Was that what it was?
No, it was not an ACL tear because that's not 6 to 8 weeks. It was something in the knee.
That's probably like meniscus, like this. Anytime you have weight, right? I mean, your knees take the brunt of it. It's like whenever I was fat in the NFL, my knees were worse. When I was thinner, my knees are better. It's just the way it goes. Weight directly affects your knees. That's just from my personal experience.
He should wear gel insoles.
He should. Braun has those. You see him give away the shoes, but he pulled out his insoles first. He was like, you can have these shoes. Not these. Not these insoles. I hope he gets it together. I hope they figure out what's wrong with him. I hope they get him in good shape, and I hope he continues to be dominant in the NBA as he was in college. Because when he came out of high school, they're like, he won't be able to do this in college. He's playing against a bunch of little white kids in high school. He's not going to be able to do that in college. And then he did it in college. And everybody's like, he's not going to be able to do it in the NBA. And now I guess they're proving it right, but I hope he comes out.
I mean, it was just Summer League, but he did look great in Summer League before he got hurt.
Yeah, he's a player. That's what he is. He's a good basketball player. I just wish he could get back to, playing basketball.
We're playing basketball.
We're talking to Dan in Philly. Dan in Philly, what's up?
Oh, hey, what's going on, man? I didn't even know you guys got to me. Real quick, touching on the Pro Bowl conversation. Good example of someone just getting a ticket for no reason. Fletcher Cox from the Eagles, coming off injury, having one of his most ineffective seasons to date, in my opinion, probably statistically too. And he's cashing in the tickets to the Pro Bowl. So it's like you said, a lot of his reputation and politics and stuff like that.
Are you an Eagles fan? Are you an Eagles fan?
Man, I bleed green.
This is why. This is why I love Eagles fans. By the way, an Eagles fan just called in to say that an Eagles player is the biggest wrongful vote into the Pro Bowl. This is why I love the Philadelphia Eagles. You guys are the best.
Oh, thank you. Much obliged. Now, I'd like to, real quick, to the heart of the matter, this NFC Least Super Bowl coming up on Sunday. They got an expression here in Philly. Eagles could go 2-14 as long as those 2 wins come against the Cowboys. It's a successful season. And the NFL and, Jerry Jones, they're already trying to slow us down, sending out, one of their hitmen, Tony Correnti, to do the game. But it's not going to be enough, though. It's not going to be enough to stop Carson Wentz, the Ginger Jesus, from enacting vengeance of biblical proportion upon those stinking Cowboys and those stinking front-runner cockroach Cowboys fans from the Philadelphia area. Got him! At 7:15 on Sunday, I hope all those cockroach Cowboys fans can go back into their hole for the winner. E-A-G-L-E-S!
Eagles! I love that. You hear how much he loves the Eagles?
Oh, yeah.
And he talks about how one of his own players does not deserve to be in it.
He's not wrong.
Well, I understand that, but you would think like maybe a Cowboys fan would call in and say that. Instead, it's an Eagles fan just being like, look, here's the deal. This guy stinks. We don't even want him on our team. Don't know how he got into a Pro Bowl team. That's just classic Eagles fan. And boy, the use of cockroach, by the way.
That's a good move.
I like that a lot.
Me too. I like that a lot because I thought he was going a different direction. Dan in Philly. He knows the rules. He knows the FCC, skates around it, and I like the fact that he's that passionate about the Eagles.
I have a hard time not throwing the F word when I call someone a cockroach in front of it.
We've noticed.
Yeah, the FCC has too, thanks.
Tony Two Fides.
See, he brought up a good point, though, that fan, because like Marquise Pouncey, great guy, phenomenal player, probably not Pro Bowl quality this year, and past couple years. But
he
I'm
did
not gonna
beat
say
the hell out of a guy.
That's what he got put in for.
Probably.
By the way, teammate of the year right there.
But I wouldn't be like, get him out of there. He doesn't deserve it.
Has anything come out about the players that were just standing around that didn't go after?
No.
Has Tomlin said anything about that?
No.
Tomlin wouldn't, by the way. That's not the way Tomlin operates. Tomlin, coach of the year? If they would have won against Buffalo, I think he gets it.
Yeah.
Since he didn't, it's going to Harbaugh.
It has to be Harbaugh.
Has to be. That's just the way it goes.
I mean, he did come out, though, and, he was very supportive. I was happy to see that he was, for the first time this year, supportive of Duck. He didn't bury him. He said, you know what, this is a rookie quarterback. This is what's going to happen. There's a very good defense. He was supportive.
Yeah, and a couple weeks ago he said, why are you playing? Because he hasn't killed us yet. That's what he said.
And when Duck was having this good run, he's like, well, you guys, there's other circumstances that lead to.
Yeah, it's a good coach.
It was good to see that he was supportive.
All right, one last call here before we get to a break. Let's go to Wales in the UK. Old Rodri. What's up, Rodri?
Hey, boys. Merry Christmas. Just a quick thought, Pat. I think you already mentioned it. Max Duffy winning the right guy. The right guy you was talking about. So what are your thoughts on the influx of Australian, Australian rules boys, rugby boys really coming into the NFL now as punters? Another kid yesterday, I think, with Pro Kick got a scholarship at Florida State. It's happening all the time. Is it a massive rivalry out there, Pat, with kickers from Australia and America, the punters? I know Max Duffy spoke passionately about it, that the Ray Guy Award went home. I thought that was, his Eastern and stuff and Michael Dixon as well a few years ago, saying Notre Dame, not Notre Dame. I think there's something going on there. Just your thoughts, and Merry Christmas, boys. Get well soon. Ty days.
Hey.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you, too, man. Call in whenever you want. Love that accent.
Yeah, it's the best.
The Australian Aussie rules football players coming over and kicking in American football. I enjoy it. I like it. I like that it's providing opportunities for people who maybe run their course in another profession and have got a new opportunity, get educated as well. It's a good thing. It's good for the game. But to call them kids is interesting. Some of them are damn near 30. I mean, so that's my. I think the only issue that not me, because I like if you haven't been to school yet, you get an opportunity to go. Everybody deserves that opportunity here, especially in America. I mean, that's what we stand for. But to say they're kids is very interesting because you got these 17-year-old American kids trying to get these scholarships, and they're competing against 27, 28-year-old guys, men coming out of Aussie rules football careers. It's very interesting. I assume there's going to be something that happens with all that, but I like it. I think they've innovated the game. I think they helped me out immensely. I did the end-over-end kick for pooch situations, which is learned strictly from the Aussie rules football. So I think it's good innovating for kicking and punting. I think it's great, but it's very interesting that some of these are 31, 32 years old. They're my age punting against these 17-year-olds, and I think that's a very interesting dynamic. I don't know how.
Yeah, was it the dude from UCLA who was older than you?
There's some guy older than me, and I'm calling these games. I'm like, this is very interesting, but rules is rules, and I like what they're doing. I mean, they're changing it around. I'm happy. If I was younger, though, if I was 17 and I was competing against these grown men, I would take a lot of pride in bombing it over their heads.
Well, yeah, it's like when you're in high school and the girl that you like start dating some dude in college and it upsets you. That's how this is. That's how that would be.
That's how you would feel?
Yeah.
But I like Pro Kick Australia. He's doing good for the game. He's doing good for Australia, doing good for the brand. I like that guy a lot. A lot of recruits. But, man, some of these dudes are damn near 40. It's like that's a very interesting. Some of these coaches are younger than the punters in college, and it's a wild scene. I mean, this is a brand new thing. I don't know how it's going to work. 11-19. I mean, it's working very well. Obviously, Max Duffy.
Sometimes.
It's working. Yeah, some of them aren't great, but some of them are very good, just like every kicker and punter. Some are very good, some are very not. And if it provides opportunity for people, I'm cool with that. But if I was a 17-year-old kid coming out, I would love to compete against a 29-year-old dude. Let's go. I'd stand 5 yards behind him, see if he can keep up with the boomstick, pal.
Sometimes, as an Australian, you shank one in Heinz Field and give the team great field position.
Yeah, Americans do that too. A lot of Americans do that too. Kicking and punting is not easy, so if you're good at it, you're good at it. 11:20 Eastern Standard Time. Got to get to a break. Ryan Leaf here in 20 minutes. Going to talk to him about Josh Gordon. Ryan Leaf used to teach people how to read in jail.
Oh, yeah.
Refused to play catch in jail.
He did.
But he taught people how to read, turned his entire life around. Good for him. Good for us, too. Hour and 20 into this. Pretty good show so far. We'll get to the phones. We got David, Dean, Ethan, Adam, Zachary, and George down there in Bloomington. We'll chit-chat with you guys. We'll chit-chat about life. You're listening to the Pat McAfee Show.
10 years ago, I had an undiagnosed heart condition, and erectile dysfunction was actually the first sign that something was wrong.
Luckily, I'm a doctor, an expert in sexual health, and Zach's dad.
Not everyone has a doctor in the house, and some health conditions can be really tough to talk about. We started Roman to change that.
Now you can go online and chat with a physician.
And if treatment is right for you, we'll ship genuine medication right to your door. If you're experiencing ED, hair loss, cold sores, or other issues, let's take care of it.
Welcome back to the Pat McAfee Show. We'll be joined by Ryan Leaf in about 14 minutes. Yes, that Ryan Leaf, talking about all things. The NBA has had an incredible conversation about load management. The more data and more analytics that get involved, a lot of people are realizing that the NBA schedule is not a healthy one. They don't sleep much. They travel a lot. There's a lot of games. They're on the road. There's a lot of running. So whenever stuff like this starts to happen, they start pulling back, and they, instead of calling it sitting out games, now they're titling it load management strictly for PR purposes. LeBron has come out and say that if he's healthy, he's playing because there's kids that potentially are there just to watch him. Now, this is a very new thought from LeBron. I will say this as somebody that got a ticket to a Pacer game versus the Cavaliers strictly because Braun was going to be there. In 45 minutes before the game, it was announced that LeBron will be sitting out due to load management. So that was years ago. I'm happy that LeBron has changed his tune because LeBron understands how much he is worth to the NBA. He understands that whenever he comes to town, they're going to sell tickets. Just last night, the Lakers played the Pacers, and every time LeBron did anything, if you watch it on TV, there was a bigger pop for the Lakers than there was for the Pacers, and this is a historical basketball city. He called themselves the Heatles whenever he was with the Heat because he knew everywhere he went they would sell out. That's just the way it went. And I'm happy that he says this. But you can't blame other players and coaches for wanting to sit their players during this incredibly long season. We have been firmly entrenched in the opinion that the NBA should not start until Christmas Day. We firmly believe that. It kind of gets lost inside of the football season for a lot of sporting fans. The NBA ratings are down. A lot of attendance is down, things like that. And I think it's because the season is so damn long. So you shorten up the season. Yes, the owners don't get as much arena ticket sales in different places, but also you don't have to worry about your stars choosing to sit out games and which games you don't have your players in. I have nothing to do with the NBA. I have no relations to the NBA. I am not friends with anybody that's in the NBA. Just as a spectator and likes to watch great athletes do great athletic things, you can understand how their bodies just say, hey, man, we got 82 games here. Is there any way we can maybe only have 60 games of running sprints, which is what they do, by the way. They run gassers the entire game while traveling and not sleeping a lot. I think the NBA is up for a rehaul. I think the speculation has been that that's going to happen at some point. I think they should start on Christmas Day. It's a gift to the world and kind of shorten the season a little bit. You don't have to worry about any of this.
Yeah, I mean, if you're these older players who have already won championships or have gone to the playoffs 8 times in a row and the regular, and you know you're going to make the playoffs, and the regular season, you could sit. I got no problem with them sitting out a few games.
Now, granted, you should want to be competitive. You should want to play.
I mean, Jordan didn't do it.
Jordan didn't sit out, did he? Jordan wanted to win every single game. Jordan wanted to do this. Jordan wanted to do that. Yeah. Jordan probably wasn't also informed that, hey, like, your body will probably be a lot. Now, granted, Jordan's a billionaire, so I think his body's doing just fine, I'd assume. But back in the day, you didn't know what you didn't know. That's why CTE and concussions and things like that weren't a big deal because now you can almost get paralysis by analysis because you start learning things about your body. You're like, you know what? I should probably do things differently than I used to do in the past. And I can't blame him. I tried to play pickup 5-on-5 at YMCA last week. I couldn't get to .7. I couldn't imagine having to do that every single night. Now, granted, it was Connor's fault because he wanted to play to 15 because he's a buffoon. But I load management is an interesting PR way to say it. But if I'm buying a ticket, I want to see the stars play. Like, that's what I want to play. Yeah. That's what I want to do. I went to the game to watch LeBron play. He chose not to play. Now I'm not only pissed off at LeBron, I'm pissed off at the NBA, I'm pissed off at the Pacers for making me buy a ticket for that thing, and you can see how that's bad PR for the team if you're not giving a heads up on who's sitting out, when they're sitting out. You make the season shorter. Everything's more important. That they're not trying as hard thing, which is a reputation that the NBA has against college basketball. Less games, you could try harder, the whole thing. I just think it's smarter for them. Now, it might be bad business because you don't get as many tickets.
That was November 16th, 2016 that he decided not to play against the Indiana Pacers, and you didn't get to watch him. So LeBron changes his mind a lot, though. He says one thing and...
Hold on, though. Hey. I don't mind whenever people learn more about a situation and decide to change their mind. I think the people that refuse to change their mind are the people that are buffoons in this world, as opposed to those who are more open-minded. LeBron understanding now that when he comes to a town, just because it isn't in L.A. or Miami or Cleveland or wherever he's deciding to play, that doesn't mean that he doesn't have a massive amount of people who are there strictly to watch him play. Kids, adults, everybody. So I'm happy that he bears that responsibility and says that he's going to play more, but he hasn't always been this way. So I'm happy that he's learning. What he's not learning about is trying to trademark Taco Tuesday and things like that. He'll learn from that as well.
I mean, I know this wasn't load management, but Drew Brees at the end of last season, his arm looked weak.
That's why this year.
And now when he got hurt for those 5 games and the arm still looks good, ipso facto load management. But
just like Tom Brady was suspended for those 4 games. Yep. He only had to play a 12-game season.
Derrick Rose was the youngest MVP, and he came out and said had they practiced load management, he'd probably still be a Chicago Bull and, probably want to have an incredible career.
Thank you, Thibodeau.
Please explain to the people who that is.
That was the coach who did not give him load management.
Tommy Tibbs, but he was known for pushing his players into the dirt.
Bobby Knight.
Throwing chairs.
Hey, I wouldn't have made it in basketball, man. They just run gassers.
I don't
It's
like
just
running
gassers.
inside.
It's just gas. You don't like running inside?
No, I can't breathe.
I agree. I like the fresh air.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even if there's a little, terrible smell,
But
at least that gives me a little something to drink. The inside, I feel like you're breathing stagnant air.
Get dizzy.
I'm breathing your air. You're breathing my air. It's like you're running in an airplane. I agree.
Yeah, thank you.
But that's why we didn't play. It's probably because we didn't play basketball. Like if we were to play basketball, I assume we'd have a different opinion on
Maybe.
it. I would assume, yeah. Because when you run outside in the cold, it just burns your entire body. What's that, Zito?
well, like you running soccer back, like in your prime, like you were running back and forth like gassers.
Yeah,
right?
but you got to remember, I was one of the greatest at load management in games. In games.
It's a different kind of shape, too.
Yeah, well, you're running marathons as opposed to quick little
Yes.
sprints,
Exactly.
things like that.
Yeah, like we would go from soccer and football straight into basketball season, and the first day of basketball, it felt like you hadn't run in years.
Because it's a completely different shape. I don't know how they do it. And icing of the knees, whenever you see those big-ass ices on the knee, I'm like, oh, these dudes are feeling it right now. I couldn't do it.
Maybe they need a softer surface.
Maybe. Let's go to
trampolines.
Let's go to Dean Dice. No, he's at Dice Air Force Base in Texas. Mr. Dean. Hey, we appreciate your service, Dean. What are we talking about?
Hey, sir, just shout out from myself and everyone else in the Air Force. Thank you for the quality entertainment insight that all of you provide in multiple outlets. I'm a YouTube watcher myself.
Hey, we appreciate you, Dean. We're lucky to do it, pal.
Well, I appreciate it. So the quick topic that I want to bring up is now that, unfortunately, the Colts are out of the playoffs, I'm a big bleed blue fan, and the Cowboys myself, please save me. What should the Colts be focusing on in this offseason? Draft, maybe free agency? Where do you...
I appreciate your phone call, Dean. Great question. The new Top Gun trailer looks incredible.
Oh, it does.
New Top Gun trailer looks incredible.
It better not disappoint.
How about old Tom Cruise coming back? They had to bring him back because they needed him. And he's just still a rebel, doesn't live by the rules. Tom Cruise. Is he flying that plane?
Oh, 100%, yeah.
No
His
way.
face looks like it. Unless he is in a G-force machine that's on the ground and they just green screen it all around it.
Is Tom Cruise flying fighter planes?
If I know Tom, he's flying that plane.
If I know Tom, he's hanging on the outside of it.
Tom does all his own stunts. Come on.
I understand, but does a regular human, whether you're Tom Cruise or not, have the ability to train to fly a fighter, to become a fighter pilot? Like, is he flying that plane? Because it looks like it in the thing. And all you hear is that Tom Cruise does all his own stunts. I'm like, yeah, but is he flying a dog fighting plane?
Good news, bad news. He is not flying the jet.
Oh.
What was the good news?
That he's in the new Top Gun.
Okay.
I think the Colts need to focus on finding a weapon. First of all, another weapon. T.Y. Hilton goes out, their entire offense goes to hell in a handbasket. I think that's something they need to do. I think they need to work on maybe a little bit better play design to give Jacoby a little bit better shot there. I think early he looked good. Late he did not. A lot of people are thinking they're going to get a quarterback. I'm not 100% sure on that. I think one offseason of Jacoby being a starting quarterback could be something good for him. I think he showed signs and glimpses of greatness. But for me, I think they need another weapon. They need another primetime weapon that they can get to so they can open up the field a little bit more, get their running game going, utilize that offensive line they have, and see if they can continue to move forward. But, boy, it's looked bad. I mean, that Saints team just blew them out of the Superdome. Blew our guest out of the studio.
Things look so promising early.
It really did. And last year, they rattled off 9 of their last 10 or something like that. This year, it's been a complete opposite. And in the AFC South, it's only going to get better. Deshaun Watson made the Pro Bowl. They're getting damn good. And the Titans, if they're going to sign Tannehill, they're going to figure out how to keep him going. And they haven't signed Derrick Henry back, which is a big deal. But the AFC South is not going to be a cakewalk for much longer.
At least you know that no free agents are going to go to Jacksonville.
Yeah, Jacksonville's done. Gardner Minshew is going to be carrying that team on his back. Unless they can draft perfectly, that team's, especially with the NFLPA coming out, just, by the way, don't go to Jacksonville. 25% of our grievances are coming from there is a hilarious thought. All right, it's 11:35. We got to get to a break. We got Ryan Leaf on the other side chit-chatting about all things NFL and also Josh Gordon's situation.
Yes.
I don't think there's any person better to talk about it than Ryan Leaf, who has battled demons and has come out on the other side of it. We're all very happy for him. This season, Omaha Steaks is sharing an amazing limited-time offer with listeners of this show, and there's still time to place your order for the holidays. Go to omahasteaks.com and enter the code America in the search bar to order the favorite gift package, the gift all of your friends and family will love, for only $69.99. Omaha Steaks is offering this deal to other people for $79.99. On this show, $69.99. you'll get 4 6-ounce bacon wrapped filet mignons, the most tender steak in the world, 4 savory premium pork chops, 4 Omaha Steaks burgers, 4 perfectly browned potatoes all gratin, 4 made from scratch caramel apple tartlets, an Omaha Steaks signature seasoning packet, and for listeners of this show, a free 6-piece cutlery set and cutting board. All this delicious food plus the free cutlery set to enjoy for years to come for only $69.99. Omaha Steaks are the most tender, the most flavorful, and you can only get steaks of this quality from Omaha Steaks, America's original butcher. Again, order now and you can get the favorite gift package plus the free 6-piece cutlery set and cutting board for only $69.99. Just go to omahasteaks.com and type America in the search bar. Don't wait. If you want to take advantage of this offer and get your gift there before the holidays are over, order their favorite gift package today. Shout out to Omaha Steaks giving away the company. Shout out to Ryan Leaf on the other side. Let's finish this show strong Wednesday, December 18th.
Hey guys, if you're experiencing erectile dysfunction, you can now get treated anywhere. Like here, 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 even here. Okay, maybe not there. That's why we built Roman. So it's easy to get ED meds prescribed online, delivered to your door. Just visit GetRoman.com, chat with a U.S. licensed physician, and if treatment is right for you, you'll get genuine medication delivered in discreet packaging. Get started with your free online visit at GetRoman.com/TV.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Pat McAfee Show. Wrapping up today's show with a man who has been there, done that with just about everything. He was a Washington State Cougar, an NFL prospect, hit rock bottom, has come all the way back, will be commentating and calling the Cheez-It Bowl, the biggest, best bowl of all time ever on December 27th. ESPN employee and legend, honestly, Ryan Leaf. Ryan, how's it going, pal?
I'm good, buddy. How you doing?
Good. Hey, let's get to it because we don't have that much time, and I want your beautiful brain to be displayed here. Josh Gordon has been suspended indefinitely. A couple weeks ago, I stated about how if this is all just because of weed, I think in a couple years this is going to look very stupid whenever it's nationally legalized. You said, hey, I would like to talk a little bit more about that. What are your thoughts on Josh Gordon and this whole incredibly sad situation with one of the best talents to ever enter the NFL?
Yeah, I mean it's been something. It's been something that's been going on for a while now, and I've reached out to him for over the last 2 years, and he's been willing to talk, but just not really willing to listen. And you can't do anything about that if someone's not willing to help themselves, right? And so in this process, when that happened, the trade or the release into Seattle went, I knew that there was something more, and it's more to it than marijuana. And marijuana for him, it's not used for the relief of pain. It's a mood-altering substance for him. He's not comfortable with who he is in those moments. Therefore, he uses it to alter his mood. It's a different scenario when people use, let's say, CBD oil and things like that to help with pain than when you're trying to remove the emotional pain of a mood-altering substance. And this time, of course, he added a performance-enhancing drug to the scenario, which also helped with the suspension.
You think that was Adderall, or will we never know? What do you think that was potentially?
Yeah, we probably won't ever know. Well, we may. I mean, this stuff gets leaked out all the time, so we may figure that out, or he may, find some transparency and vulnerability and come to us and tell everybody what went down, and that's always a hope. I want the best for him. I don't want anybody to ever have to go through the same type of thing I did and not be able to live their dream of playing professional football because he's so talented, like you said. That's the biggest problem here. And I want him to find that peace and that serenity that comes with acceptance and surrender. And I just don't know if he's gotten to that place. We heard Pete Carroll talk about how he understands what the resources are there for him. He won't utilize them. And if he does, he's not transparent and vulnerable and surrender and accept all that help. And that's shameful and sad because, he's a human being.
Yeah. Okay, so a lot of people might not know your story, but you ended up in jail due to pills, I believe, right? A pill addiction?
Yeah, so the only drug I've ever taken is Vicodin, and it was prescribed to me after surgeries in college. And then, of course, when my career ended, I had all this emotional baggage that I didn't go get the proper help with. And so I self-medicated with an opiate painkiller. And it did exactly its job, right? It killed the pain I was in for a long, long time until, of course, you can't manage that. You can't manage life like that. And it just continued to spiral and spiral and spiral out of control. And I was just like a junkie on the corner with a needle in his arm. Same difference. It just happened to be a little white pill prescribed by a doctor, but I'm still that junkie, and I had to feed that habit, and it ultimately took me to a prison cell. And God, am I grateful for that happening to me.
Yeah, because you had to hit rock bottom to find the person you are today, which is somebody who's accepted yourself into surrender. You said that Josh Gordon has yet to be able to find. Do you think there is a positive out of this potential Josh Gordon suspension indefinitely if he's able to find a good way out of this whole thing?
Of course. I think when you're that talented and you have this much and you're that young, if you find that answer and find that solution, yes, of course there is. I mean, look at I'm a perfect example of this. Chris Herron is a perfect example of this. We're not playing the sports that we played in, but we're thriving in a lifestyle where I get to contribute on one of the biggest platforms in sports there is, on ESPN and around the country. So I'm thriving in a new occupation. Just for Josh Gordon, he's still able to do the thing he really loves to do and maybe won't look back on it as a regret because he's so young and still so talented.
A lot of people say that marijuana is not an addiction drug. It's a drug that can be stopped whenever you want because it doesn't have, I guess, the body doesn't. I forget. I don't know how to describe this. They say it's not an addictive drug, right? They say it's something you quit. Do you agree with that or not?
I mean, I don't necessarily agree with it because I work with people who are going through psychosis because of constant marijuana use. Okay. So for me, I see it as something different. But I don't believe I'm a proponent for decriminalization of all drugs. I think that you tax it, you educate, you set up reform. If given the opportunity to stand in front of Congress and lobby, I'm going to be for that. Portugal has a really good blueprint on how they dealt with the decriminalization of drugs there in that country and how the crime rate is just absolutely dropped. Overdoses have dissipated completely almost, and people are more open about it and see it as a disease and care for it that way. And so I don't know if that will ever happen here, but I'm always going to be that person. So I don't ever, if the NFL chooses to continue to make it a suspendable offense, that's their prerogative. It's a private company, okay? And I also think if you're willing to have to use a drug to do your job, then you might want to look at finding another job. If you're not capable of being yourself, now if it's a pain issue, that's a different thing. But also if you're in so much pain that you have to take some mood altering drug to play, I mean, that's a problem too. Yeah. So, I mean, this is a bigger issue than just the idea that marijuana may or may not be addictive. I abstain from everything just because I know what my mind does. You know, other people are able to do these things. People are able to drink, use marijuana, do those things like that, use drugs recreationally, and not have a problem. I'm just allergic, right? I break out in handcuffs when I do that stuff.
Hey, that's a good joke. Hey, I want to let you know that's a very good joke. I think the people would say, well, I'm getting a massive paycheck. That's why I choose to continue to use that. I think pills are a bigger problem in sports than anything else.
Of course.
I'll be excited to see how they fix that. Now, let's pivot to what you talked about, how you brought your life back on track and how you work on ESPN now and get a chance to color commentate. You're very good at that. You're calling the Cheez-It Bowl. What are you looking forward to with the Cheez-It Bowl, which is the biggest, best bowl of all time ever?
Yeah, I was pretty excited when I got that assignment, and then to find out that my alma mater, Washington State, is in the game. That's pretty cool. But Air Force is a good football team. You know, they went 10-2 this year. They do something really different. These teams are almost mirror images in the complete opposite, right? One runs the football all the day, the other team throws the football all day, and you have to prepare as a defense significantly and be very structured, very gap integrity, all of those things to prevent. I think this could be a really big shootout. A lot of points scored, fun. Are you going to be there? You're going to be punting there? Is that what you're going to be doing?
I'm going to be sitting in a 2-story Cheez-It box field side with some people that won a contest, and then I believe I'm trying to punt a ball into a bowl of cheese to raise a bunch of money for the military.
I love that. If I can do anything to help you with that, I'm all over it.
We might have you throw one. We should have you throw one into the something to think about.
Yeah.
Can you still sling it?
Oh, God, yeah. Come on, man. Let's do it. Let's do it. I'm going to fire that thing in there.
Fire that pigskin.
We got a chance to talk to you in a podcast it was an incredibly eye-opening conversation. For a lot of people that are listening, they might not have heard that. Can you tell the story about how in jail you found the way to fulfillment was you were helping teach other people how to read and things like this, and that's really how your life almost got turned back around?
Yeah, I was just a super selfish, dishonest, self-interest guy. And even when I was in prison, that didn't improve because I wasn't about anybody but myself. And my roommate, I don't know if you remember me talking about this, my roommate was a Afghan Iraqi war veteran. And he had been in there for 8 years for a crime that I think a lot of us may have done in our life, and that's drive drunk at some point. But he just happened to kill somebody that night when he was on leave from tour. And I watched him try to better himself every single day, and I couldn't understand it because I just looked at myself as so much self-pity. Like, I'm the victim, all of this. And he made amends for what he did. He tried to better himself. And then one day he finally felt confident enough, I guess, to confront me and says, he told me I had my head buried in the sand. I didn't understand the value, not only for the men in there, but when I got out. And he suggested we go down to the prison library and help prisoners who didn't know how to read learn how to read. And I went. I went begrudgingly, but and I did it. And I saw these men who were being really vulnerable in a place where you're supposed to show no vulnerability. And I heard them say something to me. Hey, I'm really struggling with this. Can you help me? And I think growing up in Montana in the cowboy culture and then being in an NFL college locker room my whole life where this machismo is there, where you're not ever supposed to be vulnerable and ask for help. I think it was probably the first time I ever heard a man actually ask that question. And it really made me think. And what I found out after I went back and was continuing to do this is that I was actually being of service to another human being for the first time. And it changed my way of thinking. I didn't know it was the answer there in the moment, right? You never know that the epiphany happens when you're in it. You're like looking at the forest through the trees. But from 30,000 feet now, and you asking the question and me doing this a lot, I can look at it and go, okay, that was the moment where I was like, this has nothing to do with me. This has everything to do with the individual who needs some help. The media's not watching. This isn't about my brand. Nothing. No one cared. No one knew. This was just two individuals who were in a very difficult position, dealing with adversity, helping each other try to be better. And I think that's the best way to look at things. And it's how I really live my life now. And it's given me everything these last 5 years.
Oh, that's an awesome story. I mean, when we heard it, we thought it was incredible. Hearing it again, hey, we're all very proud of you. You think you could teach Zito how to read? We got a guy in here who's illiterate. I mean, it's tough.
You know, it's a lot harder than you think. You take it for granted on how you're taught growing up. And then when you start to teach it, don't worry, you'll get better, young man.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Leaf.
That's funny.
It was harder than I thought. I had to kind of relearn how to, because they know what the word means. They just don't know how to sound it out, and you have to kind of go through phonetics. It was an interesting, and it taught me a lot of patience.
Yeah.
And I think that was helpful for me too.
All right, we only got like 2 minutes left, but I want to ask you about the changing of football, which is happening right in front of our eyes with Lamar Jackson, a lot more. Kyler Murray's having success in his first year, Patrick Mahomes, you name it. Baker Mayfield, if he can ever figure it out, he's a mobile quarterback. Football seems to be changing right in front of our eyes. How do you feel about it from a quarterback position?
I love it. I mean, I don't get a chance to watch a lot of NFL football. I'm really impressed with what you do, popping on Get Up on Monday morning, talking about everything, because I'm usually flying back on Sundays. And then when I land, I'm like, I throw on the red zone, but I'm playing with my kid all day, and I don't know really what's going on. I know Lamar Jackson's playing well, and all the things you said. I think it's great. I mean, it allows for, I think, the college football player, especially the quarterback, to go to the next level and have success right away. It wasn't the case when a lot of us were coming out in the 90s because the pro-style offense was set in place and didn't cater to the guy coming in. Instead, now, the quarterback comes in and the coach is willing to form what he does best, to the offense or the defense. And
Smart.
That's why I think John Harbaugh really was like, this guy is special. He's a special talent. I'm not going to impose my will on him. I'm going to allow what he does so well to be our standard, and that's why they're the best team in the AFC right now, maybe the best team in the NFL.
I agree. Hey, Ryan, you're the best. I can't wait to see you on December 27th. I appreciate your time. Ladies and gentlemen, Ryan Leaf, thank you, man.
You bet, guys. Thank you for having me.
Hey, he's a good dude. Story of perseverance there, by the way. Can't wait to see him on the 27th. Excited and thankful for everybody that listens and watches this show every single day. It's a dumb show. We talk about dumb things, but I think we get a little bit done. We'll see you back tomorrow right here. Same Pat time, same Pat channel, talking stupidity from Indianapolis, Indiana. This has been the Pat McAfee Show. Cheers.
On average, people have to wait 29.3 days to see a doctor. Anyone living with erectile